and welcome to Section 3 of the California Patient Movement Plan, Patient Movement Coordination. In Section 2, we went over the 5 essential functions of patient movement: patient tracking, patient evacuation, regulation, en-route medical care, and repatriation. Now we're going to go over the tools that makes the California Patient Movement Plan work.
So now let's talk about patient tracking. Patient tracking is one of the big major functions in the California Patient Movement Plan. And as a state, we looked at a number of different options to try to address patient tracking at a state level. And there's really no system of systems. There's no system that can bring every county in every operational area's system together in order to track patients on any sort of electronic platform. So what we came up with was really a low-tech method, and it's similar to how a triathlon works. So as you can see here, these triathletes have numbers that they write on their arms or on their legs at the beginning of the triathlon. And then through every stage of the triathlon, that number gets recorded as they pass checkpoints, and those times get recorded. That way they can ensure that each triathlete basically completed each stage of that race. So we came up with a system that is very similar to that. So we call it the California Unified Patient Tracking System, or CUPS. And essentially what this does is it starts with a simple non-technology based solution for tracking, and it's essentially a very simple numbering system. So we take the county of origin, and there's a fire scope code for each county. So it starts with an X, and then it's LA or SA, or Alameda County would be XAL. And then we do male, female, or unknown, and then the last 4 of the triage tag number. Put those numbers together, and that's the CUPS number. So for instance, XAL, as I said, Alameda County is XAL-M-1234, say for that gentleman. And then another example would be XLA, which is LA County, -female-4321. And then for unknown, let's say in Sacramento, it's XSA-unknown-1122. So these are all examples, and really the only addition that we would ask at the field level and at the hospital level is that when you have a mass casualty, you carry a permanent marker in your mass casualty incident kit, and then you write this unique tracking number on each patient, and then you also write it on the triage tag.
Now we're going to talk about patient evacuation and regulation. At the operational area, the responsibility for patient movement coordination falls to the Mohawk program.
Oh, Phil looks sad. So some of the tools that the plan brings are really important to moving patients from the healthcare facilities all the way up through the system. So Form 1 is what we'll start with here. And this is a request that would be filled out by a healthcare facility, whether it be a hospital, a skilled nursing facility, or an EMS field treatment site, and then pushed up to the Mohawk program. So for instance, this is how sort of it would look. Form 1 would be filled out with, hey, we have 25 people that need to be moved. They're this acuity. That would get pushed up to the operational area Mohawk program. And then that Mohawk would take that form, collect that information with the other facilities in the area that need the help, and then they would initiate resources to fill that need. So if any reason, if the operational area is unable to meet the jurisdiction's patient movement needs, the Mohawk program will then have to request resources from the region. So that's when things start to get pushed up to the RDMHC program level. So for patient movement, Form 2 now is dealing with the operational area Mohawk program, now collecting information from Form 1s from all of the healthcare facilities within their jurisdiction that need help, putting all of that information collectively into Form 2 and sending that up to the region. This is for any patients that they do not have resources for, and they're not able to fulfill those resource needs within the operational area. The region would then handle that based on Form 2. So Form 2 is a resource request filled out by the Mohawk based on the Form 1s and the unmet needs, sent up to the region. The region would then receive those forms and then look within that mutual aid region to make sure that they are meeting all of the resource needs of the operational areas within their region.
If for any reason the region is unable to meet the needs of the Mohawk program, the RDMHC will request assistance from the state of California.
So for instance, we'll see kind of an example of that here. So the region will take Form 2s, look in the other regions in the state, see if there's any additional resources, and simultaneously reach up to EMSA and see if there's any resources at the state level that the state could bring to bear to help mitigate the resource gaps that are at the region and operational areas. So kind of how that lays out at the state level is EMSA will look within the state level resources and look within the other regions for resources. Some of the resources that EMSA can bring to bear, as you can see here, are California Medical Assistance Teams. Those are patient care teams. They deploy out with a cache and tents and medical supplies. We also have our ambulance strike team program, which we can pull multiple ambulance strike teams from all over the state.
If for any reason the state is unable to meet the needs of the region, the state of California will request assistance from the federal government.
As you can see here, this is the Loma Prieta earthquake, which was clearly a federal government response in addition to state level. So let's talk about Form 3, because this is now when the state is looking for help from FEMA. So Form 3 will be filled out by the state agencies, EMSA and or CDPH, and then pushed up to the federal government through Cal OES, Office of Emergency Services, pushed up through Cal OES to FEMA for assistance. Now let's talk about another aspect of the plan, Enroute medical care. The plan really wanted to address the different levels of care that can be provided when a patient is being moved from one healthcare facility to another. As you can see in this picture, we clearly addressed the critical care needs that happen for high acuity patients, but we also addressed many of the low acuity needs, low acuity patients that could need to be transported in a mass transport fashion under a low level of care. So the plan talks a lot about that. Lastly, the plan addresses repatriation. And this is probably one of the most important parts of an incident response in getting a community back to normalcy. When you can get people back home into their own houses or into their own healthcare systems and facilities that they're used to, it really helps the community get back to normal and start the recovery process.
This concludes our training on Section 3, Patient Movement Coordination. In the next section, we will go over federal coordination. Thank you.
I can't wait.